What's going on, good people? It's your girl, Dr. Brown, and the one and only.
You know what it is. Y'all already know Southside ATL's finest stoutcaster podcast himself. It is the Mr. Dr. Brown. What's going on this afternoon?
Hey, man, we out here in these streets, man. It's summertime. So I'm trying to, like I said, be safe, but also get my summertime, man. I'm planning some pool parties with some friends coming up for August. I haven't been to pool in a long time, so I figured, why not hit a pool party? You did a pool party, though, did you not?
Yes, I did do a pool party. It was interesting.
What does that mean?
It was a pool party. It was interesting. You know, it was a pool party and it was interesting. I'll say that. And we'll just,
Okay.
it's pool party. I
Well,
like pool party.
it's better than a boring pool party, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is I'll say this as a PSA. Ladies, when you go to pool parties, just understand sometimes gentlemen are there with women and you don't want to, show too much because then it might get a gentleman slapped or something. You know what I'm saying? We can always, keep it civil in public.
Okay. Right.
Some things should just be worn at the house. As your grandma would say. Some things should just be worn at the crib when it's just you and your man or you and your old lady, not necessarily out in public at a public pool party. I don't want to sound like granddad today because I'm really not granddad. In fact, I think I'm the opposite of granddad. But the truth is, everything don't need to be seen by everybody. Period.
Sorry.
Good or bad, happy or sad.
That's a true story.
It's so deep, man. You know what? As opposed to this pool party talk, let's talk about some social issues. Let's talk about the state of Alabama actually defying the Supreme Court that ordered. Now this is okay. First off, let's get to the real situation behind this. Alabama wrote some illegal ass maps that Alabama knew was illegal at the time that they wrote them. The Supreme Court said, yeah, these maps are illegal, but it's too close to the election for us to do anything about it right now. So we'll let you have a racist map this time because it's racist. We're saying your map is racist, but we can't do nothing about it. But we're going to change it, and then we're going to make it more representative of the population. Mm-hmm. Well, the state of Alabama, with 6 conservative justices on the court, has pretty much just said, fuck it. We're not doing it. Damn thing. We're going to keep it like it is. And Darker, before I go on my whole rant, I'm going to let you get in and let us know how you're feeling about this. And correct anything I may have missed in this.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, for me, it's really like taking a step back from this particular situation. But, the Supreme Court decision came down, earlier this year. A lot of decisions came down this year. And in the past few years, we've got 3 conservative justices that have been added recently. It was like a 6-3 split or something on the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there's all this whole idea, well, because of multiple reasons, but one, because it's so heavily, leaning to one side on the conservative side. Oh, people and Democrats in particular are losing their confidence in the Supreme Court, right? And I'm like, oh no, it's just because you don't like how it leans, blah 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 blah. Well, if looking at Alabama, I have never in my life, I'm not a history buff, so it's not like I know a lot of stuff, but I have never in my lifetime seen an entire state be like, nah, to the Supreme Court. And this is a Republican state. These are Republicans that are defying a Supreme Court order. So it's clearly not just the Democrats who have, eroded their confidence in the Supreme Court. Alabama just doesn't even see them as being legitimate. So we have a real problem in this country, and it scares me. And this one quote I thought was really interesting. This one particular spokesperson said that Tuberville, you can see the article here, just wants the maps to be fair and for all Alabamians to be represented. And he trusted Alabama state legislators got this right. Well, that was the whole point. It wasn't fair. So I can't really see how you're strengthening your argument by doing what you did before to say that now Alabamians can all vote and be represented. So yeah, nah, the contradiction continues, but I don't know what you got.
Well, kind of goes back to a theory of yours about certain folks not being able to accept the word no. And when they hear the word no, they feel as though, irregardless of the circumstances, they can go yes. And this is a great case in that. And let me point out a few things of what makes this so absurd, right? For years, conservatives have dreamed of a Supreme Court majority that they have. Their ideas were to submit frivolous lawsuits like the one that got Roe versus Wade overturned, like the ones that got LGBTQ rights recently overturned, like the ones that got affirmative action overturned, right? They've purposely done all of this in hopes that this Supreme Court does what they want. Now, when they don't do what they want, like the great Beyonce once said, the first time I said no, it's like I never said yes. It tells you the mindset of these folks. They have a 6-3 edge on the Supreme Court.
Right.
Two seats without question stolen. 2 seats. One of those seats belongs to Merrick Garland. The other seat was RGB seat, Ruth Bader Ginsburg seat, who Trump stole with 9 days before the election. 9.
That's wild.
When they held Merrick Garland's seat for an entire year, Mitch McConnell did. Okay? So they are sitting on an illegitimate Supreme Court, nominated by twice impeached, twice indicted, one time found guilty of sexual abuse, on his way to 2 probable more indictments in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, that's Supreme Court. Apparently, they're not good enough for the conservatives. It tells you all you need to know about these folks, man. They're not interested in debate no more. They're not interested in the votes no more. They're not interested in the legitimacy of the Supreme Court anymore. They're not interested in the legitimacy of Congress and special counsels, because we're going to get to that later on this session. They're not interested in any of that. The only thing they're interested in is power, and more importantly, power for a megalomaniac who's proven time and time again, day in and day out, that he can't handle any kind of authority at all. Donald Trump.
None.
That's what this is about.
Right.
But it's crazy to me. You have a 6-3 court. You put up, you know what, the case that got the LGBTQ rights overturned, they're saying businesses can discriminate if it's against their religion. They found out that shit wasn't even based in reality.
Yeah, I saw that too. It wasn't even like a real case. A person actually hadn't ever made a website like for anyone. It was just like in case they had to. So it wasn't even like a real situation that the entire Supreme Court case was based off of. So, yeah.
So this court that's giving y'all every win in the world. Oh, the precedence doesn't even exist with this court. Doesn't even exist. Settled law doesn't mean shit to them. Right. Proving that affirmative action. Oh shit, get that out of here. Roe versus Wade, fuck that. That shit shouldn't happen.
Right.
What? That court. So you're saying when you can't get what you want, you're ready to go. These folks are ready to turn this country. They're ready to split this motherfucking half. Watch.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you know, when states openly defy the Supreme Court and then pat themselves on the back, we got a real problem, y'all. And I hope folks are paying attention. There's a lot of bad government to go around. A lot of it.
And just for the ignorant that don't know, these same states that's angry like this, these are the same states that want to take a woman who goes out of state to get medical care. Yeah, they want to sick a posse after her and stick her in jail.
Yep.
Okay, for medical procedures. These same states. But y'all don't want to vote. Y'all don't understand how voting fix y'all lives. So I'm just talking to the wall right now.
I'll tell you though, speaking of bad government, the U.S. is not the only place where it's going down, where the government clearly is not able to move with the will of the people, the change in trends, the way that things update and progress as time moves on. We have anti-LGBTQ legislation here. We also got it in Italy as well. It's incredible. I read this article that apparently in Italy, there's this decision saying that the lesbian couples, the non-birth mother's name will need to be removed from a birth certificate. Now, there are a limited number of families that could be impacted by this. It's not very, very widespread at the moment. But the problem is when you think about access to like, when they say like, for instance, here in this country, you have like gay couples been together forever, but like can't speak to the health of their partner, right? Or can't help make decisions because they're not like on paper legally. Same thing with here in this lesbian couple situation here in Italy. What they're saying is the non-birth mother, if her name is removed from the birth certificate, would not be able to pick up their child from school. without written permission from their partner. What is it, 1940? And if the legally recognized parent dies, the child could be taken from their family and become ward of the state. Whoa, this is out of control. And of course, it takes a long time and a lot of money to try and like make it right. And it's just like it's hurdle after hurdle after hurdle of like you gave the people the rights and then you take it away, and like same thing. And I'll give you another example here in this country. They gave people a bunch of money with the child credit or whatever, and then they take the money away. And they was like, we're going to give you health insurance. And they tried to take it away. It's like that doesn't work. Going back and forth doesn't work. Taking people's rights away doesn't work. And what we don't need are more children that are wards of any state. We need children who have loving people, male, female, people who are non-binary, but people who love them and to take care of them. Because we know the state don't love them kids. They don't.
It's amazing how far the right is pushing backward. And it's a global phenom. You know what I mean? I remember when the woman that's the president of Italy now was running, and they talked about how extreme she was. And they said she was a lead even further to the right than Trump, maybe. And you're seeing the push in that direction. You remember when France had their election, they were afraid Macron might lose, and France was seeming to be pushing toward the right in the same fashion.
Right.
Maybe the early 2000s and the Obama-led world scared the shit out of many of our lesser melanin complected folk, but it appears to be that very well scared folks. Because according to a lot of folks, America run by a black man should have been in total chaos. The world was peaceful and extraordinarily prosperous. Extraordinarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things were so well that they went and found the most crazy, narcissistic, ignorant fool to follow that black man up because they just couldn't believe that a black man could do as good a job as he did.
I mean, basically. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, but you just wonder why this push from the right, again, globally, is coming so hard. Like, what is this backlash to? Like, how has progress? What has progress taken from you? Truly, what has those women's families taken from you? How does two women living their lives, taking care of their shit, their families, got pregnant, how they got pregnant, how does any of that shit, when they are handling their business, bother you? I don't get it.
Neither.
I do not get like the effort and energy it takes to be angry about shit like that. I don't have it.
No, me either. Children need parents. I don't care what gender or sexual orientation that they are. You need to be in the system. That's the main thing. You know what I'm saying?
And what is it about your political ideology that makes you so angry and so upset that your whole focus seems to be grabbing and pulling back toward all the progress that we've made as a global society over the last 20 years?
Right.
Like, it's fucking nuts. Like, it's like they've all lost their minds. Literally, they've all lost their damn minds. What have these ladies done? What has the, like, if their kids are happy and they're not wards of the state right now,
right?
I don't see why anybody should have a problem with it.
Me either. And
we're living in crazy times, man.
Now, and this idea that marriage is between a man and a woman, it's just this ownership of institution, right? And like how you define institution and being very willing to leave people out in a way that actually injures and damages people's lives. I would hope that people would be open to a change in how they thought before, especially if it helps more people, because people who are doing well can buy stuff. We all know this is about capitalism and patriarchy. Right. People will buy stuff if they feel happy and safe and have the money to do so, but you're sitting over here cutting your nose off to spite your face because they don't fit into the boxes you prescribe, that you're having a hard time staying inside your damn self, if you're honest. So. Listen,
I love where you're going. It's the same concept about how certain people are pro-life, but don't give two shits about you once you're born. You cannot have it both ways. If you're going to be pro-life, you better damn well be in a positive affirmation for anyone who wants to take care of a child that's not trying to take advantage of said fucking child. You shouldn't have shit to say about it because you're pro-life, remember? You're pro-life.
But mind you, you're pro-life, but you don't care about the climate. You don't care about the guns. You really don't care about. You don't really care about any like the
school lunch, free school lunch. Let's talk about how that's bad. Oh, how terrible that is. Oh my god. Free lunch? Yes, motherfucker, free lunch.
And you don't care about education because you won't pay the teachers. And then you don't want to educate them.
But you want to give them guns to shoot people.
Don't sit here and act like you're more worried about the kids than the two lesbian mothers are. Like, don't tell that.
That's at home chilling. That's just at home fucking paying their bills, minding their fucking business. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, hey, one thing about like I said, it's all coming from the right. In Dark, I want to ask you, like, before we go to the next topic, what's the difference between what we're seeing from the global right and the Taliban, other than the Taliban was brown and they didn't like their religion?
Well, there isn't.
Say it again.
It's a theocracy. We are living in a theocracy. It's the same thing. It's just it's a different language, a different skin color, different part of the world.
Different God they worship. That's all.
But it's the same. It's the same concept. And this idea that's holier than thou. We are better. We are the pillars. We are American. The American exceptionalism that died, and it's obvious, and it's all laid on the table because everything is on the table right now. Everything we thought we knew and how things go is on the table, but they're still grasping for straws, and they looking real crazy right now because, I mean, yes, that's within the news. You see governments doing that, but the people out here, we want something different. Y'all gonna have to give it up. You're gonna have to give it up, or maybe they just have to die and go away. I don't know.
And I know we're getting on a little tangent, but you said something about the American exceptionalism and it's dead. And it's so amazing how they are going out of their way to recolor history.
Right.
Where the state of Florida, we need to talk about this next week, to the point where the state of Florida is now trying to teach children that there were some benefits to fucking slavery.
Yes.
Oh, really? So all that rape and all that murder and all those beatings and all them ass whoopings and all that public bullshit in 90-hour work weeks, all that shit was somehow beneficial, huh?
So here's the thing, though. No. I had somebody tell me, if that's the case, let's have all the white kids do it since it was so beneficial, right?
Thank you.
Why not?
Thank you.
It was great. So let's keep doing it for y'all. We did it already. We're ahead of the game. Learn something. Yeah, come on down.
Man, when you say all of it's out there in the open, so much of it is out there in the open because they put it out there. All these racial scars and shit, it's y'all fault. How in the fuck are y'all upset because of progress made after George Floyd's death? The fact that you're upset because progress was made after someone's death tells me more than enough about you. Speaking of someone who was probably angry about the progress that was made after George Floyd's death, let's talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the most popular representatives from the state of Georgia, the great peach state. She's popular not because she's good at policy. She's popular not because she's a good philosopher or maybe even a great public speaker. She's popular because she is a horse's ass, period. I'm sorry. I see you weren't ready for that, Dark. I'll continue. So she's popular because she's a horse's ass. That's why she's popular. This week, this woman decides in all of her reverence for intelligence and things that intelligent, she decides that in the special session of Congress, it's a great time to display Hunter Biden porn because Hunter Biden is president of the United States, right? Right. He's president, right? Well, if he's not president, Hunter Biden definitely holds an office in the White House. He holds a special office of special advisor to the president, Hunter Biden, right? Yeah. He works in the White House, right? Yeah. He doesn't work there either, right? No. So we never voted for Hunter Biden. No. Don't give two shits what he does in his free time. No. If Hunter Biden's a rich, spoiled white kid, it would not surprise me at all. No. But this piece of trash, Marjorie Taylor Greene, chose a special session of Congress to literally display Hunter Biden porn. Darker, well, where? Not when, not how. Where are we? What, are we in the Twilight Zone? Are we in a bizarro world? Like, how can you go in the voting booth in November? Because it still gets chilly in November, right? You got your jacket on, you out there in line, you happy because you ain't up north where it's freezing cold or snowing, and you waiting to vote. And you go up there to pull your vote, and you think of this piece of shit right here and says, yeah, this garbage, this represents me. This, if I was in Washington, D.C. with a majority in Congress, could pass laws, could pass bills and amendments to shit, I want my congressperson displaying porn of the sitting president's child. That's what I want. Talk to me, dog.
So the thing is, the pictures you're seeing here have been blocked out. But it's important to understand when she showed these pictures, they were not. They're explicit. You see everything, everything. And so what's interesting to me is that, one, she done already showed her ass by calling Lauren Boebert a bitch on the floor. Like a nasty little bitch, like going back and forth. And I think she finally, after already having damn near assaulted a couple other people a couple of years ago, you know what I'm saying? She got censured or whatever. Not censured is not the right word, but she got disciplined by her own party. But then this whole idea around decorum, I mean, I know we were just talking about this. I might be a little old school. I come from a different generation, right? Like I get the wild shit, but I also have understand like the parameters, right? At no point would I ever have considered it's okay to show some NSFW, not safe for work pictures inside of Congress while testifying, especially that of a sitting president's child. You are out of line on so many levels, and they just letting them make it. They letting them make it, man. Come on.
Man, out of line ain't even a word. Like, bro, you ain't even on the page no more.
Nah.
Like, we in art class and your ass in the gym. The fuck are you doing? What
true. It's the truth. It's the
that
truth.
Man is the sitting president. Like, everybody knows every conspiracy theory in the world, right? You don't poke bears, man. You do not poke the fucking bear. You don't mess with the bear's children. You don't do that. You know how much smoke, you know how much cocaine Donald Trump Jr. was doing from 2016 to 2020. You remember when him and his girlfriend would get on Fox News high as a fucking kite? There's video evidence of all this shit. Hell, he gets on Twitter himself and promotes this. If you don't think you may have just cracked the damn code, you think this shit is fun now, bruh, the Republicans, I promise you, will not always be in charge of Congress. Your boy Jared Kushner got $2 billion. Okay? Ivanka Trump had like 30 patents passed through China like that. Okay? Okay? If you want to talk about shit that's going to happen when Democrats get Congress back, all that Saudi Arabia money that Donald Trump got for hosting those live golf course, those golf tournaments in his golf counties, what do you think is going to happen to the PGA when the Saudis bought that? Huh?
Yeah, buddy.
Boy, you play stupid games, you about to win a real dumb prize. And he's still the sitting president, and he's still eligible for another 5.5 years of presidency. Lady, you fucked up.
Yeah. But you know what? I would even take it back to the hypocrisy. Sarah Palin, a pregnant daughter. No one was allowed to say a word about Sarah Palin and her pregnant, teenage, underage daughter. Now, she wasn't a sitting, she was running, but it was like, only some of us are protected. Only some of us are considered pristine. Everybody else is on the table. Like, but when they come for you, all of a sudden it's all, I'm hurt and I'm all this, that, and the third. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop.
You remember during the impeachment when that lady made a comparison that just because your name is Barron doesn't mean that you're a Baron, and how Republicans hold pants caught on fire, and we keep children out of politics, and our kids are supposed to be off limits. Do you remember that? That woman's quote was, just because your name is Barron doesn't mean you're a Baron. She didn't say just because your name is Barron Trump doesn't mean you're barren. She said, just because your name is Barron doesn't mean you're a Baron. Okay? And their literal pants caught on fire. I thought those people, Jim Jordan and Lindsey Graham, was gonna have a whole hissy fit on Fox News after that comment came out. Lindsey Graham acted like he was going, like literally something had crawled up his ass and died. This is how Lindsey Graham was acting. Yeah. He was so turned.
We haven't heard from him in a while, but you know, it's one of the things that's really come out to me is just like how fragile these people. Oh my God, they're like fine China. And it's like, have y'all been living your lives like this whole time that way? Because I haven't had that privilege. Right.
But I think
you got all this money, all this stuff, all this clout, all this influence, and y'all are like paper in the wind, yo.
But you might hit on something in the sense, and you can pull that slide down too. I'm tired of the junk all in my
my bad.
No, you good. But the thing is, man. See, look, that threw my whole mind off now. but nah, man. The thing is, like I said, MGT, man, that was extremely short-sighted. And again, like you said, like they're snowflakes. You know, maybe the love for Trump comes from, maybe that was the first time they actually felt powerful. Like maybe that's the first time they actually felt tough, but they actually felt real power behind that toughness. Like Trump gave them a facade and a feeling that nobody can duplicate. And maybe that explains the love behind him. But like I always say, when you pumped up on that hate train, just recognize that none of those motherfuckers are going to be there to help when that fist comes swinging at your face. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's there to help. You got to hold you.
Speaking of fists, like, you know, you can't just be out here doing stuff. There are like parameters and like rules. Right. And so talk about that.
Yep, and Hunter Biden is fighting back like a spoiled rich kid would. He got his lawyer and said, "You know what? I can't." He said, "I can't beat this bitch ass. I can't call her bitch on YouTube because my dad's the president. But what I can do is send my lawyer up to Congress and say, y'all need to do something about that nasty bitch. For my daddy have to do something about this nasty bitch, all right?" And that's basically what Hunter did. You know what I'm saying? He got his lawyer on the job, and good for him, because you can only take so much abuse. You know what I mean? Like that whole situation behind that laptop is trash. Like I don't know how much of the hearings you were watching behind that, but the Democrats asked the reporter who wrote the initial New York Post story, you know, where did you get the laptop? Well, not the laptop. They said, first off, you never had a laptop, did you? She said no. They said no, you had a hard drive. And they said, where did you get that hard drive? You got from Rudy Giuliani, right? She said, yeah. And he said, well, and he said, isn't it a known fact that right before then, Rudy Giuliani had been hanging around with Russian damn foreign assets? Well, I guess since it's been reported. So you got a compromised hard drive, exactly, from a foreign asset, wrote that story without researching how said hard drive was obtained or any of that, and you just went with story. And the person who co-wrote the article with you wouldn't even put his name on the article because he knew it came from Rudy Giuliani, who'd been hanging around with the Russians, who probably goddamn put this whole shit together in the first place.
Bad government, bad policy, bad journalism, you know what I'm saying? And bad people in positions of power. It's no good. It's not good for anybody.
And here we are, you know, literally 40% of this country is convinced that bringing that orange piece of shit is the best thing they could ever do. Like, I cannot understand everything he's done, everything about what he did continues to show you how unprepared this man was for anything real.
Yep.
Anything.
Fragile. Yes.
Still finding documents at this man's house to this day. You know what I'm saying? And y'all talking about voting for this man. I'm like, I don't even know why people keep being concerned about the election. The motherfucker's gonna be in jail. He'll be found guilty at least twice by then. You want to vote for him, but they're gonna have to sentence his ass. You better pray to God that sentence don't happen before he's supposed to be scheduled to fly somewhere, because ain't nobody gonna worry about that shit no more. Once he in that Fed system, that's his ass. Folks better start coming to that recognition for real.
And you said it earlier in the show, Marcus. It's about power at any cost, including your next door neighbor, including your husband and your wife. People throwing each other under the bus.
Yes.
So I don't know.
DeSantis ass ain't the answer either. They better stop looking at DeSantis. Boy, we're gonna rip him a new ass next week. Because I'm telling you, we're gonna get into the school stuff for Florida next week. There's no way in hell you're gonna tell me black people benefited any with slavery. Because we know for a fact those that may have taken their skills and made some money on the outside will eventually lynched by said random white people because they was upset that this nigga was making so much money and doing so well in town, and he was making more money than the white man to do it across the street. Don't do it half as good because black man was the one doing it the whole time in
the first way. Yeah,
exactly. Black people never ever benefited from slavery. All right. And for that, I can't wait to get into it. That lady who said she'd be worshiping a tree in Africa, well, maybe we should be in Africa smoking trees and worshiping the motherfuckers at the same damn time. Maybe our lives would be a lot fucking better.
More on that next week.
Right. That's how I'm feeling. Speaking next week, before we get there, if you got this far, like, subscribe to the video. We're trying to get this traffic flowing. We're trying to get monetized. I have to stop cussing before then, but until that day comes, I'm gonna be rocking my ass off. Y'all better believe that shit.
Hey,
Dog, you got anything before we go?
I don't, man. Go watch a bad movie. It'll make your life better. I'm about to go do it. So,
hey, man, somebody put their heart and soul in that. That's right. Go. Even bad products need love too. I might go watch a Will Smith movie or something tonight. All right.
Okay. Enjoy that.
And on that note, y'all take care. We out this thing. Peace.
Bye, y'all.